it's cool that now that there's like a motion in the independent media space that we finally get to see at least a crumb of pushback against politicians that make them look horrible. But speaking of spending money to make money, we got Adam Friedland, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, we got the Adam Friedland show on a banger episode. Speaking of spending money, Israel, the nation state that we spend a lot of money on. And some of that money comes back to the pockets of our earnest politicians. Some of the greatest, some of the best and brightest. One might even consider an op of mine, Ritchie Torres, went on other op of mine, the center-left podcaster, the millennial Jon Stewart, Adam Friedland's show. I have not seen even snippets of this because I've been holding myself. I've been purposely avoiding any leaks about this because this is probably the most exciting episode that they've done so far. Let's take a look.
I'm sorry, dude. You're bummed. Your consultant told you not to do it. I like this guy a lot too. I'm sorry. I appreciate your time. Listen,
Sure.
I don't get to talk to someone in the government that's
See you, Jez, but for the longest time I thought he was out to get you and you hated him. Who, Adam Friedland? No, he's my friend. Ritchie Torres, on the other hand, it's not a joke. He is my op. I wouldn't know who Ritchie Torres is. I wouldn't care who Ritchie Torres is. It's just that he is such an attack dog for the state of Israel that he has literally demanded right before the general election that I get banned by using the congressional letterhead to deplatform me, to demand that Amazon deplatform me for all of the mean things I was saying about the state of Israel. Ritchie Torres, of course, is a supposedly quote-unquote progressive Democrat.
It's taking part of these big decisions like this. And
Well, I'm only one of 535. So
which one would like me? Virginia Fox?
I don't know.
Do you have her number?
I don't have her number. No.
All right.
Yeah, poorest district. He is the congressional representative of the poorest district in the United States of America and only tweets about Israel. Think about that.
Welcome to the Adam Friedland Show. I'm Adam Friedland. As always, thank you to our members and our patrons, the people that support.
If this is the one episode where he doesn't bring me up, I'm going to lose my mind, okay? Because he brings me up every episode, oftentimes next to images of the Holocaust. If this is the one time you aren't mentioned once, are you kidding? Oh my God. That's crazy. You think they're going to mention you? Why wouldn't he? He mentions me to all these random people. This is the one instance where he can mention me to a person that is actually knows who the I am.
Our show. If you'd like to support our show, there's a link in the description of this video below to become a member, which gives you early access to all of our episodes. And there's also a link if you prefer to use Patreon in the description as well. And as always, guys, there are 2 additional tiers for those of you who'd like to get your name in the credits. This week, my guest was Ritchie Torres from New York's 15th District in the House of Representatives. I'd heard of Representative Torres, but before I researched for this episode, I'd never heard of his backstory. And frankly, it's kind of inspirational. I mean, he grew up in public housing.
Okay, I'm calling him. I'm calling him. Let's see if he picks up. You're dead to me. You're so dead to me. You brought my skinny legs up to Sarah Jessica Parker, but you couldn't bring up and invoke my name to my #1 op in Congress, Ritchie Torres?
You have beef with him?
You didn't know I have what?
I don't know.
Bro, who
what happened?
Who was producing this episode?
Who produced it? Caleb Pitts.
Okay, that's probably okay. He
And then Noah helped, and then Jacob Plitman also helped.
Damn, this is such a dude. He would have flipped. It would have been so amazing. He
what
wrote.
happened with you and that guy?
He's
What
he's
happened?
Israel's #1 attack dog. He sent.
I know that, but what happened
Yeah,
with you?
he sent a congressional letterhead to Amazon and Twitch to try to get me banned and deplatformed because he got clips from like Destiny's community about how anti-Semitic I was, like 5 days before the election. Oh, you're on stream, by the way. I forgot to mention, but you probably knew that already.
Oh no, well, oh yeah, it's West Coast. It's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, it was pretty.
Yeah.
I mean,
Good
do
call,
people like it?
chatters.
Did you watch it?
I'm 1 minute and 54 seconds in, and I asked my chat
Let
who.
me know what you think after, dude.
I asked my
I
chat.
act like really like I get like really like it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But no, I mean like I think it's good. I mean people are giving like saying like really nice things about it.
Yeah. I can't wait. I mean, he's a character, so it's
Let me
gonna
know
be.
what you think. Let me know what you think.
Okay.
Enjoy
All right.
it, dude.
All right.
All right,
We'll
bye.
do. Bye.
See you.
See, you know he wants me to immediately react to it. That's why he hung up. Normally he would take the next 25 minutes to describe something happening in his life.
You know, single mother, a minimum wage. You know, he realized he was gay in elementary school. He attempted to take his own life in college, and he came back from a mental health crisis and became a member of the New York City Council and a member of the United States House of Representatives. He's the first gay black man in Congress. I mean, it's kind of like a movie. This is like I don't know what this is. It's kind of like it was unexpected. Representative Torres has been referred to as Israel's loudest advocate in the House of Representatives. And prior to this interview, I wanted to have a conversation that didn't resemble like a counterpoint, just screaming match like we see online all the time. I wanted to try and get something different. And to be honest with you, when I became emotional, and it fell off the rails, and I wasn't able as an interviewer to get it back on the rails. I mean, there were like multiple topics that we didn't cover at the end. It was frankly exhausting for both of us.
I think he's bi.
And yeah, if they felt like it was a gotcha, and I'm an activist, and this is how this conversation goes nowadays.
I never trust a word Adam is saying. Lamau, anti-Semitism, alive and well in this community. Ethan Klein was right.
And so while I didn't get what I was initially, looking.
Adam's bi? No, man. No, Adam's gay. No, I'm kidding. He's not gay. Ritchie Torres is bisexual, I think.
Before, I kind of still feel like it's important. I stand by what I said. And even if I'm my voice is high. I think it's important to say what I said in the interview. And so I don't know what it is. I mean, at a certain point, I don't even know if it's an interview, but I hope
all right, bro, get with it. Goddamn.
It's going to be a different tone. And ladies and gentlemen, Congressman from New York in the U.S. House of Representatives,
so worried?
Ritchie Torres. Everyone, make some noise. I can't. Hello.
What's going on?
Hello. Well, I got two issues. First of all, your district is Yankee Stadium. That's one of your
I
constituents.
represent Yankee Stadium, yeah.
And I asked you how the Yanks were, and you were like, I'm not. You didn't.
So I love the Yankees, but I'm not a huge baseball fan.
You just turned it
And I'm
off.
not going to pretend to be a baseball fan.
What about the zoo?
I love the Bronx Zoo.
Okay.
Botanical Gardens.
Do you consider the animals your constituents?
I consider the Bronx Zoo indistinguishable from the United States Congress, yeah.
Oh. Does that crush if you say it to another guy in Congress?
It crushes nowhere because if I had any comedic talent, I probably wouldn't be in Congress.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
You want to be
Wait, he actually gets. Does Richie get emotional or does Adam get emotional?
But when I was a kid, I was a fan, not of baseball, but professional wrestling.
Really?
Yeah, I was a
we're the
huge
same age.
fan of
Attitude
The Rock.
Era.
The Attitude Era.
Oh
So
my
I started
God.
watching in 1998.
We had it so
Stone Cold
good
Steve
at the
Austin,
time.
The Rock. I thought that was the golden age.
Mankind.
Mankind.
So was I.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we were
And I
watching
did
Raw.
a huge Rock impersonation when I was a kid. Like I used to.
I knew of you as a congressman, but I didn't know your backstory. And I mean, goddamn, wow. I mean, it's an incredibly inspirational story that you
And
have.
unlike George Santos, I have a true story.
That's your op. That's
I have
the
I have
enemy.
no OnlyFans account, but I do have a actual.
Did he have an
biography.
OnlyFans?
Oh yeah.
In Congress.
I'm not sure if he had it, but certainly it was generating income.
He
for him
would have been
after.
the first. I mean,
Who knows? I mean, I'm not
He would have
closely.
been the first
I'm not
member of
closely
Congress.
following the OnlyFans accounts of every
it
member of
sounds like you
Congress. so-
can't stand this guy.
No, just
No.
just I want to.
Do you miss him? He was pretty funny.
He was endless source
hilarious.
of comedic enjoyment. Yeah.
His tweet right before jail was amazing.
Yeah.
He's like, the curtain closes, like
Yeah.
she walks off stage. He was a real ham, George.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
was
But he was a complete fraud, right?
total fraud. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he bought like Birkin bags with campaign funds.
And also, he fabricated every aspect of his biography. It was not like he told one lie here or there. It was like the whole story was a complete fabrication.
I feel like in this day and age, that's kind of like that's in play. I feel like you could do it.
No, it's I've never.
I feel like
seen-
it's such a chaotic time. Like, yeah, like I went to Harvard Law School, and I used to be the coolest guy in my school, and I'm also Brazilian and Jewish. And what did he say?
No, he said that he had his parents were Holocaust survivors. And
I
he
like
was
that.
Ukrainian
That's
because of
good.
the war in Ukraine.
He was also Ukrainian.
And he had he
And
had
his name was
friends who
Santos.
died in the mass shooting in Orlando.
He's amazing.
He like incorporated
Mother
every
in
current event
9/11.
into his life story.
Pathological liars are great, but he took it all the way to the
Yeah, although-
freaking to the show.
Although he inspired me to introduce a bill that
Yes.
has, I think it's the greatest acronym in the history of
What is it
congressional
called?
legislation, the Santos Act.
And what was it?
Stop another non-truthful office seeker. Santos.
Am I sensing that there's
the
like
Santos Act.
that the two of you guys as like young New York gay like Latino congressman, he's naturally like your foil. He's your Darth Vader.
Let's assume like after he was expelled from Congress,
Yeah.
I became the most prominent Jewish gay Latino congressman from New York. How's that?
You're Jewish?
No, I'm Jewish.
You're Jewish.
I'm lying.
Oh, come on. I wouldn't wish this upon my greatest enemy. You don't want any part of this, my friend.
You never heard this comment? He's Jewish, not Jewish?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of
Yeah.
people say that, but you don't. I'm just
No, but
telling
he
you-
invented the term.
about you. I don't
No, he
think
invented the term about himself.
it's just a word with it. Yeah,
he would-
about him.
When he was confronted, why did you lie about being Jewish? He
For
said,
being
I
Jewish?
never said I was Jewish. I said I was Jewish.
I would say that I'm
But you're actually Jewish.
yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I can't quit.
No, it's
I wrote a letter to Bibi and they rejected. They don't let you out. It's like the mafia. You know that. You know how you join is when you're a baby.
yeah.
Your parents have a party, and then this like old wizard walks in, and then he pulls your diaper off.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And then your whole family looks at your beautiful baby penis, and then he cuts the part that I guess gives one pleasure later on in life and during sex, and then there's like a deli tray there and stuff. That's how you join the club.
Yeah.
But we've been doing it for a while though. I don't know. I don't mind it. You really didn't like my crude humor.
I mean, you've endured for thousands of years, so something's going right.
I guess so. It's
Yeah.
definitely the wizard and
At first, I always thought like maybe Felix was exaggerating when he says like some of these guys are just like Philo-Semites. Like some of the pro-Israel Christian congresspersons are like doing it for money. But there is definitely a bunch of them that are just like straight up obsessed with being Jewish and Judaism in general. Like even though ironically enough, Israel has very little to do with the thousands of years of Jewish history and the accumulation of all of that culture. But these dudes like unironically, like Ritchie Torres unironically is a fetishist. Like he is a Philo-Semite. Love doing Felix like Hebraphiles. It's crazy. They're competing for head Philo-Semite with you. I'm not a Philo-Semite. I just, I have a lot of people that I look up to that happen to be Jewish comedians. And then also a lot of, revolutionary figures and the like, and many friends who are Jewish. I wouldn't say I'm a Philo-Semite. I cringe when he was talking about the tray.
the baby's penis part.
Yeah, well,
I know. I'm being crude with a member of the
No.
of the legislative
These are important
branch.
decisions that parents have
You know
to make.
what's rude is that we're in an era where like talking to someone in the legislative branch is it's a privilege because it's so crazy.
The privilege is mine. You're the one with the massive
to
following
be
and audience.
here-
You were in the New Yorker. You know I know that because you told me.
I know.
Not because I read the profile, but you told me you were in the New Yorker. So
Why did you read
congratulations
it?
on the profile. You know you would be considered young in the United States Congress.
Yeah, I mean, I've only been able to be president.
My dating profile says I'm congressionally young.
Congressionally young.
And congressionally attractive, just in case you're disappointed.
That gets some action.
Is it a plus? It's
It
not
has to
clear.
be.
It's not clear.
It has to be.
I mean, I work 7 days a week, so that has a crowding out effect. But
Yeah, and you're with the worst people on earth.
well,
What are you doing to yourself? It must be tough.
yeah. One of my colleagues said to me that Congress is the best university in the world,
Really?
and because you just have access to some of the brightest minds, you can learn a tremendous amount.
They're the smartest guys.
Some of the, yeah.
Yeah.
We certainly have access to
It's like
some
the
of
Sorbonne or something.
Yeah.
In Congress. How boring is it like to be in the government sometimes? What's the most boring part of it?
I mean, I love it.
Dude, Ritchie Torres is such a soulless husk. Like the first 10 minutes are supposed to be before it falls apart. It's supposed to be the most like personable you're supposed to be. And I don't know, I'm biased. That I'm going to admit that. Okay? I fucking despise him. So maybe that's the reason why I'm not reading what he's trying to put out. But it just feels like he is a robotic individual. Like it just comes across like he's going through the motions of like what a human being that picked up a copy of like How to Win Friends and Influence People and like downloaded it, like what they're supposed to do. Yeah, Anthony Weiner was more personable and he's a like, how is this possible?
You love it?
Because of the variety.
You
I
like
feel
parliamentary procedure
Well,
and stuff like that?
I feel like no position has more variety than a House member, because one day you get to be local, state, national, and international at the same time. So one day I'm receiving a complaint about a pothole on Fordham Road, or pressuring the mayor to crack down on an open-air drug market in the South Bronx. And the
what
next
do you
day,
do in Congress about that?
and then the next day I'm receiving like a briefing from the CIA about rising tensions between the United States and China. So
what do you do about the pothole in D.C. though? I'm just sorry.
I mean, I use my platform to pressure the mayor to solve problems, or the governor.
Adams. Yeah. Can I guess who you were in school growing up?
Sure.
You were like were you student government?
No, not student government.
You were like a debate club or?
I was the captain of the law team.
Law team. Yep. Oh, so you wanted to be a lawyer?
Yeah, I had dreams of becoming either a lawyer or a teacher.
So you did mock trial, right?
I did moot court and mock trial, but I was like a master moot court.
And what did you like? You liked like the Atticus Finch style, like closing argument.
So that was mock trial.
Yeah.
Moot court is modeled after the Supreme Court or an appellate court. So you deliver an argument before a panel of judges who interrupt you with questions.
Worse speeches. The one that's less no,
because it teaches you to think on your feet.
All
It's less theatrical.
But that was your prep for the game.
Yeah.
You went to the show.
It was the first time when I discovered I had a talent for public speaking, or I thought I had a talent for talking.
Early on, you grew up in a single mother home. You have a twin brother?
Twin brother.
Identical?
Yeah, he's biologically older. I'm temperamentally older.
Identical or no?
Fraternal. We're fake twins.
That's all right.
5 minutes apart.
I was on a date once with a girl who told me, the first date, she said, I have an identical twin, and I can't do it. I can't tell her secrets. She has her brain is connected to another one of her.
Yeah.
You can't trust these people.
It's funny, when I was a kid.
That's a prejudice of mine.
People would ask me, "Where's your brother?" I'm like, "We're fraternal twins, not Siamese twins."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know his whereabouts at every moment. So.
But you're good at DC, right?
I'm learning DC.
You're still learning.
Yeah, of course. I've only been there for 3 terms. It's the most complicated legislature on earth. No one's going to master it in 3 terms. I think the problem with DC is not that it's corrupt. The problem with DC is that it's stupid. There's just so much absurdity in DC.
I thought you said it's the smartest place in the world.
Or you have access to some of the brightest minds. So, like, if you want to learn more about artificial intelligence or quantum computing or energy, you can reach out to some of the best minds.
Yeah. You can call any CEO right now.
Not every, but
call Zuck right now.
People generally will take your call. I'm not calling him now, so I don't know.
Your
him,
boys
so.
was Zuck. You said I'm not calling him now. You have his number.
Well, I don't know.
So
Never met him.
what CEO is your best friend? What's the best one?
Mention who's my best friend.
How many CEO friends do you have?
I don't have many CEO friends.
Well, you said you could call
He
anyone
pulled that shit out of me too. He's like, call Mr. Breeze.
on the phone at any time.
If I had a question about like AI policy, I probably could get a meeting with a CEO. Yeah, that's true of any member of Congress.
Yeah. Did you grow up in the district you represent?
My father's from Mott Haven. I'm from Throgs Neck Houses. So I grew up in a public housing development in Throgs Neck Houses, right across the street from what was formerly Trump Golf Course.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, as the golf course was undergoing construction, it unleashed a skunk infestation. So I tell people
On the project?
So I tell people I've been smelling the stench of Donald Trump long before he became president. But
Good one.
It was
But beyond that,
infested with
that's-
skunks.
yeah. What's so like? You grew up in New York City, so
Born and raised in the Bronx.
our president is an outer borough New Yorker, effectively.
Yeah, from Queens. Yeah.
Right. He wants to present that he's like Mr. like Goldman Sachs, but really he's a New York City real estate guy.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah.
But he was never respected in the real estate industry. He was known to like rip off his contractors, and he was seen as a joke within the industry.
Yeah. He figured out that if you keep someone in a lawsuit, long
he
enough,
was more
you don't have to pay them.
he was more known for his self-promotion and marketing
Yeah.
than he was for his actual effectiveness in real estate.
Yeah. Have you ever? What have your interactions been with the president?
No interactions.
You've never met
met him. Have no desire to meet him.
Let's practice it right now.
Feel like he's the
I'm
worst
Trump.
person on earth.
You don't want to meet him once? You're in the government though. You got to meet the president.
He's the devil.
He's the devil.
Yeah.
You got to have a good burn for the president. Let's practice. I'm
Okay.
Trump. What's up? I'm Trump. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
That's your no. You just bombed. You
So
can't
what should
sit
I do?
there like that with some weird smile.
I'm
like
gonna
that.
shake Donald Trump's hand.
Yeah, you have to say like you're doing like the Holocaust right now in this country, like you have to say like you're ruining this country
Yeah.
right now. Like seriously, why don't you say something like that? You're an asshole. You've sent the Marines
Okay.
into.
Okay. We'll practice. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Let's get it. Come on, dude.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
how are you?
He's so soulless, bro. It's crazy.
I'm looking for. Hopefully, you can release those files.
The Epstein? That's your no. Come on, dude. First of all, you guys already lost on Epstein.
You think we lost on Epstein?
You guys
He's
lost
in the,
on
He's
Epstein.
obviously in the files.
Well, half of the files is your guys too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but
so
he's in
you
the-
but half the files is your guys too. So that's why you guys didn't
I mean,
do this.
My
years ago.
view is release the files and let the dice fall where they may.
You guys lost on Epstein.
Why did we lose?
His crappy excuse, like everyone, his whole base doesn't really care.
Yeah, they moved on.
What we found is that they actually don't care.
Yeah.
MAGA didn't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys really are having a rough one right now. I think.
What's your advice for us?
I don't know. I mean, you're one of the guys, so I'll tell you.
Yeah. He did say the files weren't real initially and then quickly turned around and said, no, never mind, they are real. There was a weird moment there where he was like running defense for Israel.
What I'm seeing.
Yeah,
Right.
please, tell me that.
I really wanted to give you your whole story about where.
You want me to tell my story? I'm happy to tell it.
No, because I want to talk about this. But,
Okay. You clearly don't want to hear my stories.
I've been trying to toss it to your story, which is that's a
Yeah.
Hallmark movie. We'd open this up like this guy's. You're the first black gay guy to be in the government. Gay man to be in the government. Gay guy is you can't say that to a
First
You're the
Latino and black gay member of Congress.
first Latino,
in the
black
United
and
States,
gay.
yeah.
It doesn't roll off the tongue, that one.
Yeah. Too many identities.
Yeah. First black president. Obama crushed it with that one. Yeah. First Latino and black and
Once
gay.
you have a first black president, everything else becomes less impressive.
How many LGBT members of Congress are there?
There are quite a few, like more than 10.
More than 10.
Yeah.
And there's 100 Senate. How many House?
435.
435.
So 535 in total.
Are there no Republicans, right?
Who are openly LGBTQ?
Oh, you're saying
None of them.
You're spilling the tea right now?
Well, my running joke is the LGBTQ caucus is the only caucus that can expand without winning an election. We just have to take members out of the closet.
Would you do that? You were in the closet in your life, right? Like, what are the ethics there? It's really interesting because, like,
Would I
if you
out
see a
members? No, I'm
gay-
not gonna-
If you see
Yeah.
a closet gay Republican, like advocating for something that is,
Would I out him?
well, it's advocating for like taking away gay marriage or something. Like, what's the rule there? Because you were in the closet yourself as a young man, and it's a painful thing, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, you have to go through the, it's a process.
You found out in middle school?
I realized that I was a gay in middle school.
When was
I
it?
first-
Titanic? Leo DiCaprio?
No.
No, I didn't realize at all when I
It's not
he was
Leonardo
cute.
DiCaprio.
Wait, what? How was it? What was it?
I forget exactly how I realized, but
You forgot? No, you don't forget. You gotta have a better story. You're a politician. Titanic, Leonardo DiCaprio.
I'm not often asked about my coming out story in
so
the
then-
Bronx, so.
Why not? It's an interesting story,
Yeah.
right? And like you're Puerto Rican. You were afraid of experiencing homophobia in your community, or
Yeah, I grew up in the projects, so it's a machismo
Yeah.
environment.
And what about your family? Was there like, when did you come out to them?
16.
16.
Yeah.
And was that when you came out?
No, then I came out gradually over time, and then when I ran for office when I was 24, I decided to be out to everyone, to run as an openly LGBTQ candidate.
But
that was back in 2013.
When you were at school and stuff, you didn't tell people that you were gay? Or?
Yeah, I was telling more and more people over time.
I thought you were at an assembly or something.
Yes, I was at a debate competition where I said I was a gay American.
So that's counts as coming out?
Isn't that like a Jim McGreevey moment, though? Remember he said I was, as a gay American?
Yeah.
He gave this speech. That's such a dated
You're
reference.
You're a kid coming out of the closet. Don't diminish that experience.
Yeah, it was back in...
No, that's your story. Why would you say that was just a debate competition? It has to be scary.
No, I agree. It was terrifying. Yeah.
What led you to do it at debate?
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt, it's interesting.
Did you see something that you were like...
Yeah, so I was browsing through MySpace.
Yeah.
And I ran into the profile of a teacher. Who identified as gay. And it was the first time I knew of a person in my...
The Republicans were right. The gay teachers are making our children gay, but also pro-Israel. So I guess that's all right. You can be a gay Israel defender, and that's fine.
Social universe who was openly LGBTQ. And so I approached him. And
your social universe? You chilled with your teachers?
Or people in the world I knew, I guess.
You hung out with adults.
I did not socialize my teachers.
Yeah. No, so it was the first adult or person that was openly gay.
Yeah, because I grew up in a world where no one was openly gay.
Yeah.
And I just spontaneously came out. It was the first time I ever had acknowledged my sexuality to someone.
Do you feel like sharing your story, like, and making it all the way to Congress, that has to be an inspiration to people that grew up in a place like that? Yeah. No? That must feel good, no?
It does.
So why are you diminishing it on the show right now?
I'm not diminishing it, but I feel...
You should be proud of that. I was in the New Yorker yesterday. You were...
I was in the New Yorker as well. Back in 2016.
Oh, okay. Well, I was in it yesterday. So both of us are probably the same.
Yeah, but you're at a much higher level than I am. So.
No, you were 2016. You were a Bernie delegate.
Yeah. I was 2016.
Yeah. So wait. So go back to that because it's interesting to me. So like, you had this mental health crisis in college, right? And did it stem? It stemmed from being gay. Is that what it was?
Not only from I had a sexual identity, but I had a severe struggle with depression.
Yeah.
Which began in high school.
Yeah.
But then became worse in college, and I dropped out of college. And at some point, even thought of.
Yes, he was a Bernie bro. Ritchie Torres came up as like a gay Latino black congressperson who was progressive. It's not even that's not a joke. Like, that's how he started off as. And then once he arrived at a seat of power, he just basically farmed out as much. Take your dog out for a walk, you cruel man. She is so passed out, which should clue you in on how much she works out in the mornings. She literally has not moved even a little bit. She's been sleeping the whole time.
Committing suicide. Yeah. Underwent hospitalization, felt as if the world around me had collapsed. But then I began taking an antidepressant, going through psychotherapy, and it just gave me a fighting chance
to... Oh my God, another John Fetterman archetype.
...rebuild my life. So after...
Yeah, he has Fetterman brain. This is Fetterman brain pre-stroke. Maybe the common denominator is the suicidal tendencies. I don't know. When unlimited, unbridled ambition, because there's hella suicidal people in my community. Okay, none of you guys love Israel like this, so I guess you have to combine it with a constant power grabs.
A few years of hospitalization, I rebuilt my life and became the youngest elected official in America's largest city. I ran for the council, and then ultimately ran for the United States Congress, and here I am.
And it was a few years that you were going through that. Yeah. And what did you do once you got out? How did you restart your life?
Well, instead of going back to school, I went into politics. So I was a housing
organizer. Politics from that?
I was a housing organizer for a New York City council member, and then I ran for public office myself.
I would have moved to France or something.
No, I couldn't afford to. I couldn't afford to move to France.
Yeah,
I grew up poor.
Well, you can figure it out. Yeah. You get a ticket. You get to France. I don't know. You busk. Do you know guitar?
No.
You get a guitar, put the I don't know. Obviously, to run for office, you have to have a call to public service.
Yeah.
You guys all say that, but like you have to have an ambition, like as well, right? There has to be part of it, right? Like I want to do.
I think an ambition to make a difference.
Yeah, but you want to be.
achieve.
I want to be the president of the United States. You know, come on.
I have no desire to be president.
Is your ambition purely just to make a difference? I mean, it's a very abstract term.
Yeah, make a difference in how many babies Israel gets to kill with American weapons, as in more babies, of course. Like that's the difference that he wants to make. He has zero personality. It's actually so impressive. Yeah, when I see stuff like this, I actually think maybe it's not so hard to be a congressperson. Because like, I feel like you have to be a real shark, but you would assume that someone has to be like a little personable, right? And then you see guys like this and you're like, you're just a sociopath. You can't even string sentences together to convince the other person listening to you of your humanity in a situation that is designed to like make you look human regardless.
What's your dream? You know?
My goal is to be the best elected official I can be. And then let the rest take care of itself.
That doesn't work for me.
Works for me.
You could say like I want to make sure that.
I mean, I would love to be.
Say a better thing, like I want to make sure the kids in my neighborhood could like have a better life or something. Saying the best that you could be is so abstract. You could vote for anything.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I can tell you why I ran into public office. So.
Which is what?
It was really about public housing. So born and raised in the Bronx, spent most of my life in poverty. And raised by a single mother. He raised three of us on minimum wage, which in the 1990s was $4.25 an hour.
It's ridiculous.
But the most formative experience of my life was growing up in public housing. And in New York City, there's an institution known as the New York City Housing Authority, NYCHA, which manages the largest stock of public housing in the country. It houses about 500,000 people. And it's been so chronically underfunded by the federal government that it has a capital need of $80 billion and counting.
And is that issue something that affects your constituents? Because you represent the poorest district
and
in
I
America.
represent one of the largest concentrations of public housing in the country.
Yeah.
And so you have like asthmatics who are struggling to breathe in their homes.
You live in
the face
unsafe circumstances as well, right? Yeah.
I have to stop this interview before it gets to the good part. We will be watching this interview tomorrow. So don't watch the rest of it. Do not watch the rest of it. If you see viral tweets from this interview, look away. Okay, you say, mute this account. I don't want to see it because I want to enjoy it because it turns into a shit show from what I understand. Anyway, let's do the TAFs. Let's do the TAFs video. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this.
Without heat and hot water, molded conditions, leaking conditions, like these conditions, the living conditions of public housing have become a humanitarian crisis.
And
I think if NYCHA were a city unto itself, it would be the largest city of low-income Black and Brown Americans in the United States, and it's the forgotten city of New York.
In representing the poorest district in America, one of the smallest districts too, right?
The most contiguous and compact district, and it was even more so before redistricting.
And you have a third of your district lives under the poverty line. Is that correct?
It's the lowest income district. About a third of the district is enrolled in SNAP. 70% is enrolled in Medicaid.
About a third are born in other countries. Is that correct?
Significant immigrant population. Yeah.
What is the mandate that you have in DC representing those people?
It's to make government work for the Bronx, to protect critical programs like Medicaid, SNAP, Medicare, Social Security.
Is that what you carry with you when you're in Congress?
We got a hype train, Ham and Fist. Thank you for the 20 gifted subs.
Is that what you consider when you're like in a committee hearing or something?
Everything should be centered around the Bronx.
Yeah.
And for me, the Bronx is not only where I live, it's who I am.
Yeah.
I tell my constituents, even when I leave the Bronx for Washington, D.C., the Bronx never leaves me. The most important lesson my mother taught me is never forget where you came from, and I'm from the Bronx. And I've lived in the Bronx my whole life, and I probably will die in the Bronx.
Guys, DraftKings Casino has your play.
Oh my God!
Guys, not fair. God
damn!
Yeah. Something
Okay.
interesting that's happened in the Bronx is in the last general election, from what I understand, there was the largest swing towards the Republican
Yeah,
Party.
one of the largest. In 2012,
Yeah.
Wait, let me see how many views this has in one day. Okay, 244,000, not bad. It's going viral all over Twitter too.
Barack Obama won 96% of the vote in New York 15 in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Flash forward to the 2024 election, there's a more than 22-point swing toward Donald Trump.
Why is the Democratic Party losing the most vulnerable people in America then?
Well, I think
What do you attribute that
Well, the
to?
Democratic Party is hemorrhaging support among working class people of color throughout the country.
Why is that?
Occam's razor holds the simplest explanation is almost always the best. The simple explanation is inflation and immigration.
Yeah.
We had the highest inflation in more than 4 decades. So if you're paying double or triple the cost for groceries and gasoline, you're going to lash out at those in power, at the establishment.
You say that the incumbency is just bound to lose that election, Biden.
If
Biden
the
or
incumbency
Kamala.
is perceived as failing, yes.
Was there a way to win that election against Trump? If inflation is so bad, is it impossible?
It's crazy, bro. I mean, ugh. Oh my God. I hate this shit. Notice how even outside of being an AIPAC stooge, guy from like the poorest district, guy who represents the poorest district in the country is like, the immigrants are really up, It's just like there's an affordability crisis, but also immigrants. It's like, why? What are you saying? On top of that, he's also obviously a paid attack dog for Israel.
To win that election?
The odds were stacked against us because of inflation and the mismanagement of the migrant crisis. But if we had the benefit of a full primary process, and if we had a stronger general election candidate, maybe we could have won. But I don't know for sure. But Donald Trump is a fatally flawed candidate, so maybe we could have won.
You're a member of the least popular Congress probably of our lifetime.
I think we are.
Probably.
We're less popular than colonoscopies.
It sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, does
Based
it
on the
suck? Does it suck to be
Yeah,
the
I
least?
think there was polling that said we're more popular than cockroaches.
Goddamn, Xylax, the 200 bones. Holy moly. Hype train level 4 chief. Holy
Which is
moly.
And more
got
popular,
more than
barely
us.
more popular than Ebola.
You guys are losing Hamas for sure.
Yeah, well,
You guys are getting crushed by
Hamas might be more popular on college campuses than Congress.
Oh, okay. Okay, but anyway. But I looked at a Gallup poll the other day. Dude, this is... I was actually started laughing. You just have to laugh at this. You guys are 23 right now. That's not bad.
Higher than I
That's
thought.
high.
Yeah.
You guys, what is this? Oh my God, May 2024, 13?
It means we have room for growth.
13.
Yeah.
But that's you and the Republicans. 13.
Yeah, the institution at large. Yeah.
13 is you poop your pants in front of the whole school.
Yeah.
February 2024, 12%.
Yeah, so it sounds like
What was happening that month?
If Congress were if Congress were a woman, you probably wouldn't go on a date with her. Is that
Why?
she's unpopular? I don't know.
No, what she could be like beautiful. You know, like what do you mean?
No, you seem to hate Congress. So
I'm saying everyone does,
okay.
right? I'm looking at the Gallup poll.
Are you part
America.
of the 13% that approves, or?
I think that we have to recognize the runway a little bit and what got us here, maybe.
Yeah, I
you
agree.
know.
Yeah, what could it be? Maybe Ritchie Torres, who got 1.497 mil from AIPAC, looks like a goddamn husk in a suit. Okay, the Civics favorability tracker is nearly broken for the Democratic Party. Perhaps it's because these guys don't come across as earnest. They don't come across like they believe in anything but maintaining their grip on power, their marginal grip on power, as they can just farm out funds from lobbyists, as they can like network with high profile individuals and develop a career for themselves. But it's also true they are doing that, for the record. They have no investment in defending their constituents at all. So of course people hate them.
Seeing the Marine Corps entering the second largest city in America and seeing the most vulnerable people in society just taken away from their children and kidnapped. And there are facilities in our country right now surrounded by alligators and stuff. There are facilities where there are cages with human beings in them who have not been afforded any due process. And the sad thing is that you guys are, you're polling behind Donald Trump right now. And
That's not true.
the Democratic Party has lower approval ratings than Donald Trump.
I think the story's more complicated there.
What is that?
Yeah, so the latest polling from CNN shows that the most important issue to Americans is inflation, the cost of living. And on the most important issue, Donald Trump is 25 points underwater. And since the November election, there's been a 34-point swing against him, and that we as Democrats are more trusted on inflation than he is. That's a huge swing.
Why are you guys not killing him right now? That is a cherry pick. Come on. You know, that's a.
I mean, inflation is the most important issue.
Brother. By the way, not a single one of those swings is due to the Democrats pushing good messages on this part, okay, or actively fighting. It's because people are like, well, my financial circumstances didn't change, still unaffordable. That's why they swung, even on immigration. On immigration, Donald Trump is underwater, okay? On immigration, Donald Trump is underwater. One must ask the question, why? It's not like the Democrats, including Ritchie Torres himself, in this conversation is presenting a counter message.
I hope it's a
He's not.
good.
And Donald Trump is doing what he promised he was going to do, mass deportations, concentration camps, black bagging people. So what happened? Maybe because once Trump's anti-black, anti-brown, white nativist, anti-immigrant agenda unfolded in the militant ways that it was always going to be, people started realizing that this was cruel, unusual, and completely unnecessary, and started developing enmity towards it. It was not because the Democrats did anything about it. They still aren't doing shit about it.
One thing that is understood is that you're in the House of Representatives and you have to run every 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, how long do you have to wait till you just start running for the next one after you win an election?
I mean, you start immediately.
Yeah.
It's like you're in a constant state of campaigning.
Is campaigning and going to fundraisers, doing all this stuff, is that a distraction from the work that you have to do?
It can, but I feel like if you're effective at governing, then it improves your ability to get reelected. So if you're a good congressman, you're going to be popular in your district, and you're going to be well positioned to be reelected.
Does it suck that you have to fundraise, right?
It sucks. Fundraising sucks.
Yeah. And because of Citizens United,
it's nauseating to ask people for money. Yeah.
Do you feel like it's eroded people's faith in the institution, right?
I feel like too much money is too much time to spend on fundraising, especially if you're a frontline member who has a fiercely contested general election every 2 years where tens of millions of dollars are spent. You could be spending more than half your time every week
at a banquet.
No, or just call time, dialing for dollars.
You were criticized, I saw, for Blackstone donation, right? And it's understood that they are the architects of the housing crisis, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean you receive contributions from thousands of people.
Yeah.
Who are employees from all over the place.
You can send it back and say fuck off.
Yeah, I'm not.
So they're giving you a check just because?
I decide issues on the merits. I don't know what others do, but I decide issues on the merits.
So it's a just cause check?
Just cause.
They're just giving you money just cause they think you're nice?
I'm pretty sure that even there are lefty candidates who have gotten money from people who are employed. Yeah, rank and file employees, sure.
I figure you could, maybe if you're like, this guy's...
You do know that,
this guy's making my constituents' lives worse. You could be like, I don't want it. I'm in a safe blue district, right?
People should judge me by my record, by the legislation I pass.
Yeah.
I work 7 days a week. I'm visible in my district. I'm on the ground. I'm happy to... If you ever want to take tours of my district, I'm happy to walk you through my district. So.
Yeah, I'd like to. I've been to the zoo in Yankee Stadium.
Right. Well, not the actual projects, not the amenities, not the institutions.
Yeah.
I can give you a sense of racially concentrated poverty in a place like the Bronx.
So that's what my question is. Is like,
where do you live? Which borough?
I live in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's my question. Like,
So
right?
you might
So,
be
like,
divorced from the experience of racially concentrated poverty.
But what does that
in the
have to do with taking money from blacks? Like, I just feel like that's a deflection.
Well, I think
and
you-
I don't want to
no, 'cause I
I
think
don't
you're-
want to cut like an argument right now.
If you,
I don't want to argue
if you,
with you.
If you
Yeah.
want to question my ability to represent my district, I'm happy to show you what I do.
I'm
happy to bring you to my district.
What I'm calling into
And introduce you
question
to my constituents.
What I'm
And
calling
you can-
into
and you
question
can-
is the institution, right? I'm calling into question the system, and you're functioning within a system, right?
I've received contributions from tens of thousands of people. I can't keep track of every person. I'm not
Yeah.
responsible for every person.
You forgot.
I'm only responsible for what I do.
Okay. So you.
So I mean, you can,
have you ever-
you can play the
By
guy.
the way, I don't think his district them at all, or even know who he is. They just vote for the Democrat. That's it. Okay, that's it. That's how he's won.
Game, but that's not.
I'm not trying to play the
No,
gotcha
but
game.
that's
I
not-
think you're used to like Anderson Cooper 360, and I'm a guy. I'm from Come
No,
Town
I'm not.
Podcast.
I'm not. I'm happy to answer whatever question you have.
Yeah, whatever. Here's a question for you. I think you've established.
Sorry, I just logged on, but while I see 100% the importance of Friedland challenging Torres on the scale, I do find it frustrating that 2 years in the genocide, we're still centering Jewish feelings. We have a lot. Bro, Adam is Jewish, okay? That's it. He's Jewish, and he's anti-Israel, and he's been anti-Israel for years, okay? I understand why people get mad about this centering Jewish feelings conversation, because there is truth to it. I'm Muslim, okay? I center Palestinians in my commentary. Of course I do, because that is the primary victims here. The problem, however, is that if you are making an argument that is going to be as broad-reaching as possible, it's kind of OP to have a Jewish dude say these things, okay, and show vulnerability in the process. Because, unfortunately, Americans want to hear it from Jews, and they want to hear it from white people, okay? Just like when I talk about transphobia and how stupid transphobia is, Americans and transphobic people, people in the margins, they want to hear it from a cis person. Okay? That's it. That's it. That's the whole point. It is what it is. Okay? I know when I talk about racism, when I talk about anti-blackness being a core part of American identity, a lot of the people that need to hear that are already automatically not listening to a black person saying it. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because my Muslim background in this process unironically actually cooks me and causes a lot of people to automatically go, nah, he's biased because he's Muslim. Muslims are automatically anti-Semitic. That's why he's anti-Israel. He's a terrorist. He's a terrorist. He's a terrorist. Calling a white guy a terrorist in the same way, calling a white Christian guy or calling a white Jewish guy a terrorist or an anti-Semite in the same way doesn't have that same impact. That's it. This shouldn't be the only thing that matters, of course. Okay? This shouldn't be the only thing that matters in the discourse, but it moves the needle in the appropriate direction, I think. All right? That's it. And there are points in this conversation, or at least the one part that I saw, because I didn't want to spoil it for myself, but there was one part where, like, the most impactful part, he actually does literally talk about it, where he was just like, I shouldn't care about, like, being Jewish. Like, it shouldn't be about me being Jewish. Like, he even mentions that. So I think a lot of people don't understand it. Being a Jew from New York is the same as being a white guy from the States. It's just privilege disguised as people of color. No, for sure. For sure. Yes. Yes. And with respect to Judaism in America, and Jews speaking out on this, okay, it's important. It's important to have Jewish people speak out on this and be active voices. Why is it important? Why do I criticize Bernie Sanders so much? Even though he has pushed the needle consistently on this issue for many, many years, he has fallen short of what is necessary right now. Because he is a prominent Jewish politician and a socialist politician, one that should be leading the charge right now, because that cuts away at so many of these arguments that these people cynically push. For many of these guys, they cynically go, oh, you're anti-Semitic. You must be anti-Semitic, okay? You want to kill all Jews. They don't even care. They will say it. They'll say it to a Jewish guy. They don't give a. But the audience that's watching that is infinitely more receptive when a Christian Zionist is telling a Jewish anti-Zionist that they're wrong, that like they are the voice that will defend Jews. They are the voice that is going to protect Jews, and they are the voice that knows how Jews feel, you know? And no, I'm not going to ban that chatter. That chatter is not a possible Nazi. This is the ongoing discourse right now on the other side. A lot of Palestinians that and a lot of commentators who I admire, who I respect, are frustrated by this. This is something that is ongoing. This is a back and forth part of the discourse. I mean, it happened with like BLM too. It happened with BLM too. My point always is just keep pushing, you know, as long as someone is on the right side, as long as someone is like actively using whatever finite opportunities they have to keep moving the needle in the positive direction, then that's good. I'll take it.
Establish yourself as the fiercest champion of the state of Israel in Congress.
I've never described myself in those terms.
I'm
pro-Israel, but those are terms.
Well, I think maybe you've been dubbed that.
Yes.
Okay. Listen, like I'm a Jewish person. Like I have my own opinions on this. You have your own opinions, and this is a really frustrating conversation to see people have on the internet. I don't get an opportunity to talk to someone that's making.
You know how I always tell you, like, if you got bro friends that work out, then use the podcasts that I've been on, like the bro adjacent podcasts that I've been on, to convince them. Okay, whether it be like Bradley Martin or whether it be my appearance on Theo Vaughn. But then if you have like finance bro friends, you can use the Iced Coffee Hour podcast that I've been on to show them a different side of me, one that will open up more charitability. Your parents can look at the NPR interview that I did, right? There's a reason for that, because there's a different audience, okay? And a different audience requires a different mode of communication. You can't always just assume that people are going to be charitable to you. You can't assume that people don't have personal hangups that cause them to completely sidestep your perspective. It requires deeper learning and understanding, and sometimes in order to open that door for people to even go on their own journey of, and I can't believe I'm saying this, recognizing the humanity of Palestinians that are being wholesale slaughtered with American weapons by the state of Israel, will start here. That's why while I of course primarily feature Palestinians living in Gaza and living in the West Bank in my coverage, and the atrocities that take place from their perspective, I also obviously will have guests from all different kinds of backgrounds to talk about numerous different angles, to talk about numerous different journeys that they've had. Okay? Anti-Zionist Jews like Noah Colwyn or Simone Zimmerman, even anti-Zionist Jews living in Israel that are members of the Knesset, like Dr. Ofer Kasif. Anti-Zionist Jews that are part of Mezer Vot, that are conscientious objectors. Like, there's a reason why I tackle this issue from every angle possible, because I know there are different audiences for it, okay? And even then, no matter what I do, there are a lot of people who will always turn around and say, nah, dog, you're a terrorist. You're a fundamentalist. You're radical, okay? There are still a shit ton of people who will not listen to what I have to say because my name is Hasan, okay? I'm an anti-imperialist and my name is Hasan. So a lot of people just immediately, because of the implicit biases that they have about unchecked Islamophobia that they feel, they go, nah, there's a sinister reason why you're doing this. It's because despite a lifetime of combating anti-Semitism and being openly anti-fascist, there are a lot of ignorant people that will just refuse to listen to what I have to say and assume that I have some other sinister purpose for this. Now, should I just sit around and be like, well, those people? I can sit on a throne of moral infallibility and say, you know, those people. And sometimes I do say that. Okay? Sometimes I do say that because it gets a little overwhelming. However, I also recognize that because this issue is so vast and because this challenge is so impossible to tackle, okay, stopping a flow of weapons to Israel is seemingly this like impossible thing. I recognize that you need those people on your side as well, okay? So I'm glad that people try to do their very best, no matter what their background is, and try to actively change people's minds by showing their own perspective. They're showing their own humanity. Ultimately, the people that are criticizing Adam are also right, though, in terms of like the broader issue, because a big part of the reason why so many people choose not to recognize the humanity of Palestinians is because of anti-Palestinian sentiment that is deeply embedded, and anti-Arab sentiment that is deeply embedded in American discourse, and also Islamophobia that is a permanent fixture of modern American politics. And when you combine that, that triple force, all of a sudden every American starting position is, yeah, they're barbaric monsters. Like, maybe it's just too costly of a genocide for us to engage in, but Israel could just like keep doing whatever the they're doing. I don't give a like. That's what the average American's position is. So there is a limitation to the centering of Jewish feelings conversation, for sure, because there are more issues that you must tackle in the process. But I think these things take time, and this is a good starting point regardless for a lot of people. Because remember, I always say the but Hamas argument is so successful in terms of just like shifting the conversation away. And that but Hamas argument only stems from a dehumanization of Palestinians in general, a dehumanization of Muslims in general, because but Hamas would not work if people were like, well, what the are they supposed to do? 80 plus years, 100 plus years of militancy and ethnic cleansing. What are they supposed to do? Of course they're going to take arms. What do you mean?
Decisions and supporting these things that are a huge deal to people right now.
Sure.
Yeah. One thing that I thought was interesting, and I want to start with you, is that you described your first trip to Israel in 2015 as a life-changing experience. And I just wanted to follow the narrative of like you growing up and your struggles and then going into the government. Like what was that experience like, and what bred that passion for Israel in you?
Well, since I grew up poor my whole life, I never had an opportunity to travel abroad.
Yeah.
So the first time I ever
free trip
went to a foreign country.
So it was life-changing because you went on a trip?
Part of the reason, went abroad for the first time, life-changing. But also, when you experience the complexity of Israel, you go to the old
what
city.
What did you see? Like, what did you witness? Like,
Well, go to the old city.
Yeah. I've been there.
Yad Vashem, which is the Holocaust Museum.
Yeah.
Go to the Masada, where Jews committed mass to escape enslavement.
Of course, I've hiked up Masada.
The Gaza envelope.
Yeah.
Went to Sderot, spoke to the local mayor who said that.
You went to Gaza?
I did not go to Gaza, no.
What did you say, Gaza envelope?
No, Gaza envelope, which is right on the border with, it's Israel, but it's right at the border with Gaza. So.
It's right next to the fence.
Yeah, it's in the proximity to.
What's at the Gaza envelope?
Like
I've never heard that term before.
Sderot.
Yeah, with the rockets.
Yeah.
Going in. Yeah.
Yeah.
How far is Sderot from Gaza?
Never heard. Bro, Adam's been to Israel. I can't believe he's never heard the Gaza envelope.
It's like a mile or something.
Yeah, within a mile.
Yeah. It's right next to it.
Yeah, striking proximity.
Tough.
Yeah.
That's where all the kibbutzim are too. The Gaza envelope. That's where like the primary October 7 conflict took place.
Whole thing. Yeah.
I mean, that's why Hamas was able to so easily penetrate on October 7th.
By getting over the fence.
Yeah, and it's so close.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just want to know because it seems like it was powerful,
yes.
and it seems like it's informed your record, and I that's what's interesting to me. It's like your story and how you got here, and like I think it's narratively what fascinates me.
Maybe one day you'll give me a chance to tell it. So.
Why are you annoyed by this question?
I'm kidding. So I spoke to the local mayor of Sderot.
Yeah.
And he said to me that the majority of his children struggle with post-traumatic stress because families like his live under the threat of relentless rocket fire. And I remember seeing these bus stops doubling as bomb shelters. You know, I come from the Bronx where people live in fear of bullets and guns, but we in America do not worry about Canada and Mexico firing rockets into American homes and communities. We're a country of 330 million people. We're surrounded by oceans, and Israel's a tiny democracy the size of New Jersey. That's literally...
Oh my God. It is the APAC. It's the APAC triple-double, bro. He hit the high notes, dude. That's crazy. Israel, small nation. Imagine what it would be like if we worried about Canada and Mexico blowing us up. God damn. Small bean Israel, dude.
Surrounded by both state and non-state actors that are intent on wiping it off the map. So,
Yeah.
you know, I left Israel with an empathy for the unique security situation that Israel faces.
Bro, this is all... Oh my God, he's such a bot. He's such a bot. He's such a bot. Like, what he's saying right now is basically like a NPC. He's doing a readout of talking points. Nothing behind. First of all, everything he's saying is obviously false. We've already covered it extensively, so I'm not going to get into that again. Israel is a nuclear armed nation that is a military occupation over 5 million Palestinians that it directly occupies militarily. It has nukes. It has an incredibly large military, and it gets all of military gear from the United States of America and other Western allies as well, and they get social and political cover as well. Israel is not a small nation at all in comparison to the vast belligerency that Israel demonstrates in the region against all of its neighbors, which many of which, out of an act of understandable, moral, and justifiable self-defense, have actually created non-state actors to fight back against Israeli incursion. Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas is obviously the last version of that kind of resistance. Militant resistance against the Israeli occupation after 100 years of death, destruction, ethnic cleansing, and complete sovereignty and complete domination over the Palestinian population. And of course, other countries in the region, state actors in the region like Iran, are understandably perturbed by Israel's irrational and belligerent behavior as it constantly expands in the most violent means possible, including annexing territory from Syria that was legally recognized by the Trump administration, the Golan Heights. That was illegal. That was an illegal annexation. Parts of that territory also belonged to Lebanon. Israel also took it over. Okay? And now they are further and further taking up more space within Syrian territory as well. All of the destabilization of the region benefits Israel and oftentimes is directly led by Israel. The notion that Israel itself is actually a small nation that just everybody hates because, it's not doing anything. It's just like living there because they're jealous is ridiculous. Ritchie Torres.
You visit the occupied territories while you were there?
I went into not Gaza, but I went into the Palestinian Ramallah. So,
He recognizes that Gaza is occupied territory. Interesting.
Ramallah.
Yeah.
And what did you see when you were there?
Yeah, we spoke to Palestinians who obviously have a much more critical view of Israel. And
that didn't resonate as much as... Like, what was your takeaway from hearing...
Look,
you're hearing the mayor's day wrote his children have PTSD, and then this guy's like... Israel's screwing with me.
Well, look, I'm in favor of a two-state solution.
Sure.
I feel like the just outcome lies not in the existence of a Jewish state to the exclusion of a Palestinian state, or the existence of a Palestinian state to the exclusion of a Jewish state. It's the coexistence of both.
Bullshit.
So I think I want to see the struggle, both the Israeli and the Palestinian struggle for self-determination, to be reconciled in the form of a two-state solution.
A big topic nowadays is campus anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Have you spoken out?
That's bullshit, by the way. That's now, two-state solution is what's going on right now, okay? Whenever someone presents the two-state solution to you, understand that they actually have no real interest in offering sovereignty and dignity to the Palestinians, okay? They are not invested in the Palestinian emancipatory movement whatsoever. They do not see Palestinians as human beings. They are perfectly fine with avoiding talking about this issue altogether. It's just a way for you to shut. Oh, what do you want? What do you want from me? I already said two-state solution. Come on. Everybody knows that Israel has, one, never been invested in a two-state solution, and also never will be invested in a two-state solution, especially after the genocide that's unfolding in Gaza. The two-state solution is simply a way to shut the Western nations and their populations the up while Israel continues its territorial expansion in the West Bank, which is illegally occupied by the Israeli state right now. Okay? Throughout this two-state solution in the so-called peace process, since the 90s, Israel has created an environment where there's Bantustans in the legally recognized official homeland of the Palestinians that were offered after 1967 that extend far beyond the Green Line, a non-contiguous Palestinian state that it does not reflect the state at all, has no real standing military whatsoever. Israel's actively killing all the standing military officials, standing military members. Any sort of like real resistance, legal resistance against the Israeli occupation is met with unimaginable force, death, destruction, torture, and also a unjustifiable military detainment regime. It's complete bullshit, okay?
Against it. I just want to know what you identify as the examples of this type of anti-Semitism in elite academic institutions.
Yeah, so there were students at a CUNY Halal, where you had a violent, what I thought was an aggressive mob following them to a kosher restaurant in the heart of New York City. And
what were they doing, the mob? What was the mob doing?
Just following them, and then barricaded the restaurant and
they were like chanting?
hurled insults at the patrons and slamming the windows. You know, much of it is captured in video footage. And, you know, harassing people simply for being pro-Israel Jews, to me, is wrong.
Is there any other examples? Like, there's a restaurant. I mean, it's just like all we're hearing about is campus anti-Semitism, radical. Like, is there a link between Hamas and the protests? Like,
they're walking menacingly. They were walking violently. Walking while Muslim, I guess, or walking while Muslim adjacent.
Is that established?
Well, there are students who have faced harassment and intimidation because of their beliefs. There are students who feel inhibited from expressing their Jewish or Zionist identity because of the atmosphere of intimidation or harassment on college campuses. You should speak to this.
How have they?
Are you denying that there's any campus anti-Semitism? Or?
I'll give you an example. I know a younger person that went to UCLA and was attacked and is Jewish and was with a group of Jewish people at a protest, and they were attacked by the Proud Boys.
Okay, that's an anti-Semitic incident.
No, but the Proud Boys were there for Israel. And those are the guys that did Charlottesville.
The Proud Boys are there for Israel?
Yeah.
I think of the Proud Boys as like white nationalists and white supremacists.
I'm telling you right now.
Who are anti-Israel, but okay.
Listen,
dumb. That is what's going on. I wonder why so many American fascist movements are super invested in defending Israel, including Donald Trump. How did that happen? Oh my God. Oh God, these guys are such man. They just have to live in this complete hug box. They live in nonsense world, okay? It's just like the grossest woke liberal gaslighting at the behest of a fascist movement, at the behest of a Nazi state. I hate these motherfuckers so much.
I'm like a comedian, right? Like, I hate when comedians, especially on the internet, like speak from a position of authority with about crap that they don't know about, you know? This is one topic I feel like the
purest distillation of difference between being pro-Israel and being Jewish came to me when my mom told me to boycott a local coffee shop because a pro-Israel guy went there, whipped out his phone to film a barista who was wearing a pro-Palestine hoodie. He got mad, got kicked out, then it made the rounds on pro-Israel social media. Then I told my mom I go to that place on a weekly basis and never felt unsafe. It's also, I'm sorry, there is no clear indication that Israel is a totally separate thing as opposed to like American Jews broadly, than the cultural output that Israel has. Okay, it's so clear. It's so stupid. I mean, I talk to Felix about this all the goddamn time, and it's really funny because like he'll always be like, "Listen, and Adam says this too as well. I don't know if he brings this up in the interview, but it's like there's this culture around like being a Jew in America, right? And they always say like, we're not supposed to be like hogs. You know what I mean? That's not what being an American Jew is about. Like, you're not there. The people in Israel are closer in culture and closer in attitude to like a white nationalist Christian hog in the United States of America than any of these like effete liberal Jews living in New York. Like, that's just, it's so, there's just, even on a vibes-based attitude, it just doesn't make sense. And none of it makes sense. Like, look at the settlers, not even the settlers, like just like the attitude and the arrogance and the militancy. I'm not, there are a million different there are a million different ways to approach the subject. I'm just using a more humorous, vibes-based focus here. But like, it's just clear. I don't know. I think like maybe there are a lot of. I mean, it's just like a perfect closed circuit of propaganda that starts off with the horrifying things that have happened to Jews around the world, right? The real historic pain, the real thousands of years of pogroms and the Holocaust. And then after that, it'll never happen again because we have Israel, because we are militant. We'll never let it happen to us again. That's why we have to kill everybody all the time. And we have to be this like muscular, militant, macho country. My question always is, and I know people like this who like still try and defend Israel, right? It's like, well, why don't you live there? You could live there. You don't want to live there, motherfucker. Because you're American. You're an American Jew. You're not Israeli, okay? You don't want to live there, but you still want to defend it somehow because it's like important to your identity. I get it. Like you grew up with this. But clearly, if you really cared about it, it's a state. You would live there. You don't want to live there. Why don't you want to live there? Because you're American. You're not Israeli. This is, I mean, it's true. Like, it's not like Israel's like, please don't come. Israel will pay you to come to Israel and live in Israel. Israel wants you to come to Israel so bad that they do free trips to Israel in the form of birthright, which Adam has participated in, as a matter of fact. No, it's not a bad argument. It's not a bad argument at all. Israel wants every Jew to live in Israel. They are not hiding this. This is not a secret. They have an entire program designed to literally get young American Jews to go to Israel and then like fall in love with a IDF soldier so they stay there. What do you think birthright is? That's what birthright is. They're like, please live here. We will give you a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whatever you want. Okay. They have an expansive, robust welfare state. Okay. They want everybody to live in Israel. They want all the Jews to live in Israel. It's a fucking ethno state. Of course they do. They need the numbers, and people still don't do it. I wonder why. Imagine. Like, think about that. You're an American Jew. Cost of living is expensive as okay? You can't pay for health care, and you still choose to live here. I wonder why. Because you're American. You're not Israeli. That's it.
Can speak on. And
on college campus anti-Semitism?
No, on anti-Semitism.
Oh,
and
in general, because you haven't been in college how long? Probably 2 decades, right?
I'm telling you, on my experience of anti-Semitism the last 2 years. But
last time I got in an argument with my mom about the safety of American Jews versus Israeli Jews, I said, okay, you can move there. She said, maybe we will. She's not moving there, man. She lived here her whole life, I assume. Why the would she do that? She's not moving. That's just fake. Because if she wanted to move, she would have moved a long time ago. It's just so ridiculous. And like, I guess like I kind of understand why like older American Jews have this kind of attitude towards Israel, because like they are closer to the Holocaust happening. So there's like more of an emotional impact on that front. But like, if you're my age or younger, if you're under the age of like 50 and you have this kind of like weird attitude, it's like, well, you could have lived there a long time ago. You could have just gone there. Israel really wants you to go there, and you still won't. Why? Because you don't want to live there, because you're not Israeli. You're American. Okay. Stop with this.
Last 2 years have felt different in America. And I don't know if you've been on Twitter recently. Now a ton of people are questioning the validity of the Holocaust having happened.
Yes.
Can you tell me with a straight face that those are the 18-year-old kids at Columbia that are doing that?
The 18-year-old kids at Columbia?
Are they doing those posts about the Holocaust never having existed? You know who's doing it.
No, we disagree here.
You think that it's the...
You don't put words in my mouth.
It's people on the right. Let me tell you...
You're suggesting that there's... You're suggesting there's no one on the far left that denies the Holocaust? Or downplays the Holocaust? That's an absurd
What are
statement.
you're doing moot court right now? I'm telling you what it's like to be my experience being Jewish.
But there are others who have a different experience.
I'm trying to see. Why is one better than the other? Why is one more important than the other? I'm trying to share with you. You're in the government. I don't get a chance to talk.
Of course.
I think this part was also really good too, where he basically, I mean, if I'm getting it correctly, he basically saying like, dude, anti-Semitism on college campuses is nothing in comparison to the literal Holocaust currently happening to the Palestinians. No, I didn't pre-watch this part. I only pre-watched the part where he cries.
Okay? I think hatred of Jewish people
I didn't pre-watch this part, dumbass. I can fucking see where he's directing the conversation.
has exploded in this country. And I don't think it's... I think it's because it's of our support of what looks to be an absolute brutality.
My uncle was watching Fox and BB came out. I said, look at this loser. He flipped out and I walked away laughing. We're both Jews. Like, defending Benjamin Netanyahu is so funny. Defending Benjamin Netanyahu is extra funny because that's like the one off-ramp that pro-Israel people have, and they still choose not to take it. It's like, dude, you're unsalvageable.
And I think that...
You think that's a justification for anti-Semitism?
Here's the thing.
You
is
think
like,
Israeli government policy is a justification for anti-Semitism? My view is there's no justification for anti-Semitism.
I think that...
There's zero justification for anti-Semitism.
Okay, you're deflecting again.
I'm not deflecting. That's my position.
What does it look like to have a flag with a Jewish star, and I'm Jewish, and for kids to be starving right now? Why is my government... I don't want to do this fight. Let's not do like a yelling at each other thing. I really just... For me, I had the experience of...
It just sounds like you're justifying anti-Semitism, which...
Dog, he's Jewish. You're not. Let him get a fucking word out, man. This is why I said it's important. It's important for Jews to just like talk about this kind of shit and be like, dude, what the are you saying? Okay? The more stuff like this happens, the better. Okay? He's just like, he's trying to own him. Okay? He's trying to own Adam. Adam's like, dude, they're slapping Judaism on this genocide. Of course, people are going to make that conflation when people like yourself are making that conflation. That one is a dangerous conflation. If you clearly don't care about anti-Semitism, but if you even want to act like you care about it, you have to recognize this reality. And he just tries to hit that Hasbara tone. Are you justifying anti-Semitism? Why is he trying to own Jews in the marketplace of Israel? It's just so... It's so annoying. It's so stupid. Like, and also, it's just like, how can people not see what this is? Like, this is just, you are a liberal, okay? You're not supposed to be a conservative. And one of the things that like liberals are not supposed to do, or are supposed to feel like a little scared to do, is like speak over the bodies and spaces, right? But when it comes to anti-Semitism, if you're pro-Israel, you can do whatever you want. It's like you can be anti-Semitic to Jews. That's literally what Josh Hawley did to a liberal Zionist Jewish guy in the Congress in a congressional hearing. It was mind-boggling. It works. It works. There are a lot of institutions that are tasked with like protecting Jews in air quotes, or protecting against anti-Semitism in air quotes, that simply only want to defend the nation state of Israel, that never chirp about this shit at all.
Making me feel like...
Are you crazy right now?
Okay.
Why would I do that? You're doing the I'm Hamas thing?
I'm not saying
it's
you're
not
Hamas,
a winner.
but I'm not... I think
we'll do a different tack.
Israeli government policy should have no bearing on... If you have disagreements with the Israeli government, you should voice your criticism of the Israeli government.
But also, if you do, I'm going to call you a anti-Semite. Okay, you're doing the conflation. And then going, doi, how do people conflate Jews and Israel? I don't understand. If you say anything about Israel, I will call you an anti-Semite, you mother. Doesn't even matter if you're Jewish yourself, and I'm not. I will call you an anti-Semite. It's awesome. Like, oh, I wonder how this happened. I wonder why Americans look at the situation and think, hey, I've seen a lot of people say, if you hate Israel, you hate Jews. And I really hate Israel. I don't really hate Jews, but you're telling me I hate Jews over and over again. Maybe I hate Jews. That's how it works. That's how it works. That's how you literally develop anti-Semitism, maximum amounts of anti-Semitism. Oh, it's so stupid.
There's no justification for intimidation.
It's literally all Jews must have dual loyalty, but woke, okay? It's the other side of the same shitty coin. Nazis say this, and they're anti-Jew and anti-Israel. And then Jake Tapper says this, and he's pro-Jew and pro-Israel. What are people supposed to? What are people's takeaways supposed to be from this? There's like 8 total people in the grand scheme of things that are like both not anti-Jew but anti-Israel, and everybody else is literally arriving at that conclusion. Of course, people are going to be Semitic.
Or harassment against American Jews.
I'm telling you as a Jew right now that we are receiving a lot more hate because of what the people with a flag that has a Jewish star on are doing to other people right now.
That might
and I'm telling you, as a Jewish person, how painful it is for us to say, and it hurts my stomach to say this, and you're going to say, I disagree, that this is a genocide. And that hurts to say that a Jew could do that. It hurts because we grew up with learning about what hatred is. We grew up learning about this.
So yeah, this is for people, for the uninitiated, they look at this and they go, who gives a feelings, right? And I think that's part of the problem here is that like your main criticism about Israel conducting a genocide should not be about how it makes Jews feel in comparison to their history. But what you have to understand here is that he's not speaking to every single person that's listening to this. He's speaking to others who are in the margins who have a similar background. Okay? That's it. He's talking from his own experience. He's also, I think, whether he realizes it or not, is actually using Ritchie Torres' philo-Semitism against him a little bit. I think it's good. I think it's good to embolden and galvanize anti-Zionist Jews in this direction, or even Jews who are like in the margins, even if it's this far in, because we need those numbers, okay? We need those numbers. We need those bodies.
And the same year the State of Israel was established, in 1948, the world
this is the part that I saw
the Holocaust, and they established standards for what a genocide is. It was the same year. And the world said that this shouldn't be a thing that happens. You know? And I just wonder, like, it doesn't make sense to me, I don't know. It doesn't track to me why there's this fixation with kids at a school and 2 examples of people at a restaurant that there was banging.
2 examples. I mean, there are surveys on it. Read the ADL surveys on it.
Read the ADL surveys? He said it's crazy that in the immediate aftermath of the Holocaust, the Israeli nation state was developed through an ethnic cleansing campaign, and that violence has continued in perpetuity for 80 plus years. And his response to that, and that violence is nothing. The anti-Semitism allegations are nothing in comparison to the violence that Palestinians have experienced for 100 plus years, but certainly in the last 80 since the inception of the Israeli nation state. And this guy goes, read an ADL survey. Are you out of your mind? He's literally saying American feelings, okay, whether they're Jewish or not, is nothing in comparison to the real violence that is unfolding in Gaza, okay? And this guy's response is, but the ADL surveys. Oh, wow. I can't believe that an Israeli government mouthpiece has conducted surveys that say that Jewish feelings are hurt because there are too many pro-Palestine people around them. Well, I guess we got to pack it up then. The Apartheid Defense League.
Because
it's hard for me to talk about this in public.
Clearly,
because you're being a dick. That's mean.
No. I'm not being mean. It's an emotional topic.
All right, I'll share with you what happened. I lived there.
I don't intend to be mean, so.
Sir, I lived there.
He's still trying to dunk on him, not realizing how this looks either, by the way, which is so crazy. Anyway, here's Adam's difficulty in talking about this is what every anti-Zionist Jew has felt for so long. It's painful to watch and have it all fall on such deaf ears. People using our history and persecution to enable genocide is the most mind I've lived through. I literally stopped observing Judaism. I'm reformed, so take that as you will, because of my rabbi's warmongering. Torres' shit-eating grin in the face of the least funny shit on earth is almost more than I could take apart. I'm so emotionally drained from just watching those 2 clips. Can't imagine how much I'd prepare to watch for the full thing.
18, yeah. And I grew up a Zionist. And we were told, and our whole community in this country is told, that we have to defend Israel and love Israel because it will stop the Holocaust. It will stop another Holocaust from happening. And my dad was born in 1951. That was 6 years after these atrocities. His friends' parents, he knew these people that had been through this hell, these skeletons. And it terrified us. And the understanding in our community is that we have to defend Israel. But I lived there, and I went to a settlement at the end of my year there, and I looked down a hill at a Palestinian village, and I saw how they lived, and I turned back and I looked at the settlement and saw how they lived. And people live in a world where they're demeaned and dehumanized and surveilled constantly by people and this isn't in Gaza, by people in SWAT team outfits with semi-automatic weapons, and that's what the world is seeing. And you keep telling me that the problem is someone's getting yelled at a restaurant? I'm sorry.
You're conflating two different issues. So I don't
please,
understand.
please.
He's not. That's the only counter you have to this shit. That's it. Israel is indefensible, especially when more and more people are aware of its violence. Okay? So the only counter that you have, if you want to defend Israel, is to basically silence the people who are speaking out against Israel's atrocities. And the only mechanism of that silence is crying about anti-Semitism. But of course, Ritchie Torres bot, you're conflating two different issues. He's not. He is actively tackling your idiotic argument about anti-Semitism, which is, again, going against the Jewish exceptionalism, in my opinion. Because, like, this conversation, this back and forth right here is quite directly, this conversation is directed at the notion that, like, Jewish feelings are actually more important than Israel's violence against the Palestinians. He's literally saying it's not. He's also saying it's not real, like you're making up a lot of the anti-Semitism, but, like, it's also completely irrelevant, okay? And he's right. He's right. Like, what are we talking about? I brought this up the other day, and of course, Bad Empanada got mad at me for saying this because he's insane. But, like, the entire point of why I actively speak out against anti-Semitism and bigotries of all other forms, you know, is because the final point that you arrive at after that dehumanization sets towards any marginalized group, historically marginalized group. That's what I mean when I'm talking about Jews. I'm not talking about Jews in contemporary American society where they're not facing systemic forms of discrimination in the same way that, like, other bigotries still absolutely exist and persist, okay? But historically, it leads to the Holocaust, right? It leads to pogroms for Jews in particular. Historically, anti-blackness leads to the Tulsa massacre. Anti-blackness still very much persists, and you see it in the systemic forms of violence, right? That's the reason why you're supposed to be against these sorts of bigotries, so it doesn't get to that point. So while there is a glaringly obvious systematic bias against all Arabs, all Palestinians, and all Muslims in the form of, like, unrelenting Islamophobia that normalizes and justifies Israel's literal Holocaust happening, you can't sit there and talk about Jewish feelings. You can't sit there and be like, well, you know, people yelled at a bunch of people who were protesting and saying they love Israel and they want more baby murder to happen. It is no different. It is no different than white nationalists saying, I'm a white identitarian and you are actively coming after me for demonstrating the importance of defending the white purity. That's it. It's actually even worse than that because Israel is literally doing a Holocaust, whereas, like, at any given day, not, you know, there's not as much motion in terms of, like, moving in the direction of ethnic cleansing. We're moving in that direction right now, but we haven't gotten to the Israel point yet as far as, like, the full tilt Christian nationalism. We're moving in that direction. Make no mistake. We're getting there. We really want to be there. If unrestrained, this administration would make this the Christian Israel, okay? But that's the whole point. This dude tweets about you in Israel. Who? Ritchie Torres? I know. That's all he does. Talking about this like it's Jewish feelings seems like bad analysis to me. No, I don't think he's doing that anyway. Why did Torres agree to this interview? Adam is friends with you. This guy supports terrorism. It's correct. You're absolutely 100% correct. Ritchie Torres does support terrorism in its maximalist form. Ritchie Torres supports the state of Israel and its genocide. So you're right about that.
Saying this to you right now will hurt people in my own family, okay? Because this is a very important thing to us. And the fact that I still care about...
Dude, why are you calling? Be insane. It's not... It's not just him. Even Finkelstein laughs at the notion of anti-Semitism is a bigger problem than things like Islamophobia in the West right now. Is there ever a point where I've said anti-Semitism is a bigger problem than Islamophobia? That's not my argument. You're misunderstanding my argument. He misunderstood the argument that I was making when I was describing why fundamentally you're supposed to be anti-bigotry, because that dehumanization justifies a lot of violence against marginalized groups historically. Okay? And he misunderstood that, and he tried to make it seem like I was saying that as a American Muslim, he was making it seem like I am saying that anti-Semitism is far more consequential than Islamophobia.
Being Jewish is embarrassing. I should just be a guy. But this feels like a stain on our history. And it feels like it's changed what being Jewish is. Because what being Jewish isn't Israel. Judaism has existed for 4,000 years. This is a country for 75 years. You know, like, it is the oldest, one of the oldest monotheistic religions. Anti-Semitism is one of the oldest forms of hatred. People in my life are going to be mad at me about this, but I'm saying this because I am Jewish. You know, and I don't understand why you would be...
Look, how you define...
I want to have...
I feel like I'm here to be lectured, not...
Shut up. That's not nice. You can't talk that.
Shut up. Oh, Jesus. Look, as much as I would have loved for Adam to just like blister Ritchie Torres, I will say that this is productive in a different way, and this actually ends up launching him into orbit in a very effective way as well, because he propped him up. He propped Ritchie Torres up as a human, or tried to like find the humanity within him, failed to do so because he's a bot, and now he's vulnerable, and Ritchie Torres is still behaving like a bot. Like, he's over here crying because, like, you know, me talking about this is deep, it's emotional, it's painful. My family's going to get really butthurt about it, really upset. And that's probably why it's like annoying for some people who say, oh, you're centering Jewish feelings in this. But like, no, he's just himself. He's being himself. He's not like, he's a comedian. And as a comedian, he's talking about some very unfunny shit right now. And he's getting vulnerable and he's getting emotional. And Ritchie Torres still is just like, you're giving me a lecture. He is such a goddamn robot, dude. It is crazy.
Why are one set of Jews but more important than others?
No one's saying any.
What happened? You went to the beach in Israel? What, you went to a restaurant or something?
Yeah.
A nice restaurant?
No.
Like, listen.
Never even been to the Tel Aviv Pride Parade. So.
This is the year 2025.
Yeah.
The world is seeing something that looks terrible, and it's being done in my name, and I don't know what to do.
But the war began on October 7th.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
When
Hamas systematically murdered and made. You want.
Okay.
Look, we're going down a rabbit hole. We fundamentally disagree.
No.
But Hamas murdered and maimed.
No, you're doing the
and
TV
mutilated
thing.
and abducted and tortured thousands of people. That's not television. That's a fact. That's reality. You can deny it. You can.
This is demonic, bro. Hannah Arendt on Eichmann. He was genuinely incapable of uttering a single sentence that was not a cliche. Bro saw an opening and was like, well, time for the dialogue tree. Hamas, October 7, Hamas. Hamas backed Palestinian health ministry. Hamas backed Gazan health ministry. Kidnapped from a tank. Like, goddamn, bro. Holy this shit used to hit so hard, too. It was like, this used to hit so hard, like in early October 2023. Obviously, 22 months in, everyone looks at you and you're like, and goes, "What are you saying, bro? There has been 1,000+ October 7s, more than 1,000+ October 7s. Shut the You clearly don't care. You clearly don't care. You can't say October 7 after Israel's done 1,000,000 October 7s. You can only get away with saying that if you don't think that Palestinians are human. They're simply collateral damage, okay? And only Israelis are human in this conversation. This is why a lot of people get butthurt when I mention just facts about this dynamic. Not even like the history, even on a post-October 7 assessment, which is obviously silly and stupid. And it's a much broader conversation than that. It's 100 years of brutal occupation and settler colonial violence and ethnic cleansing. Unjustifiable, incredibly immoral things that Israel did and continues to do so. But even post-October 7, whenever I say like between Hamas and Israel, there is no comparison, none whatsoever. This is a fundamental truth. It is very difficult for a lot of Americans to recognize this, but it is the truth regardless. Okay? It is a fundamental truth that a military unit, okay, a militancy comprised of victims of Israel's violence after hundreds of years of military occupation, 100 years of military occupation and brutal conquest that conducted in retaliation to the trauma that they withstood a brutal military campaign that had a litany of war crimes in the process and tragedies that unfolded in the process are not even comparable to what the nuclear armed nation of Israel is doing after 100 years of death, destruction, and complete brutal military occupation. Is not even remotely comparable. Because it's true. It's true. Even people who are pro-Palestine, like honest to God, they see it in their hearts. They recognize it. They're pro-Palestine. They see the violence. They see the genocide that's going on. They shudder when they hear this. They go, how dare you say this? How can you say this? Remember October 7th. That's when you have to talk about the history. What the are Palestinians supposed to do? What were they supposed to do? What was the expected outcome of 80 years of military occupation? And before that, settler colonial violence. What were Palestinians eventually supposed to do when they run out of options? They can't contend with that reality after so much programming that like dictated their lives, their adolescence, their most formative years, their most malleable years when they just saw Muslims on television getting slaughtered and thought, those guys are all scary. They hate us because they ain't us. They're barbaric. They're ruthless. They're brutal. But it's not working. I will say, however, like I've maintained over and over again, the hardest hurdle to clear here is the but Hamas counter. I wish I had realized my wrongs much earlier in life, but I grew up believing the United States was a force for peace and security. It wasn't until I deployed to Afghanistan that I realized just how wrong everything I was taught was wrong. I'm sorry that I had to even learn this, but they were normal people trying to just live. I remember passing out water and watching little boys fight over bottles of water. I wanted to cry. I've never had to fight for water. Yeah, this is why I'm also a lot more open-minded and a lot kinder to people who actually reflect on their past service, reflect on their past actions, and actually become an important voice in anti-imperialism. And this is why I'm also very understanding and think it's very valuable for American Jews that grew up Zionist to become open anti-Zionist voices, because they are far more capable of converting other young Jews, especially, maybe not the older ones, because, you know, that's a totally separate issue to tackle. But why was that banned? It's too long. It got auto-modded because it was too long. I really don't like just outright saying anyone is acting in bad faith, but if anyone's acted in bad faith, it's Torres during his interview. Yeah, I mean, like one of the funniest aspects of this, okay? One of the funniest aspects of this conversation is like Adam Friedland has been to Israel. Adam Friedland is Jewish. He grew up Zionist because, like, obviously there is no alternative, right? Unless your parents are already anti-Zionist, then you're just gonna grow up that way. You're gonna think about like the importance of Israel, right? Which he's clearly communicated in this process. And I'm supposed to think that a black Puerto Rican gay guy living in the Bronx has a more passionate defense of Israel than Adam Friedland. Well, how am I supposed to believe that? And there's no financial imperative here? Really? I'm supposed to assume that Ritchie Torres, just honest to God, loves Israel, dude. That's just something that happened, you know? He was overcome with joy. Yeah, he's reading ADL surveys. He just really cares about this. The $1.495 million that he received from AIPAC has nothing to do with it. How dare you? He just loves it, dude. He just loves it. The most hardcore militant Israel supporters cannot fathom how their hardline approach to the matter is unsustainable, untenable, and ultimately more violent against them in the long term. They use said violence against them as a self-referencing justification for carrying out their own continued bloodshed against Palestinians. It's an impossible situation to contend with unless you completely deprogram the Zionism. Yeah. And it's for some, you just got to wait it out, you know? Time will take its course. But there are plenty of young people that have recognized this reality and are getting deprogrammed in real time. And I think that's part of the reason why the ADL put crosshairs on me early on. And that is because I'm not anti-Semitic. My anger and resentment towards Israel is a uncompromising disgust with the concept of fascism to begin with. Okay? It doesn't matter if the in-group is Jewish or Christian. It's just like I'm anti-fascist. And a lot of Americans are taught that fascism is bad and wrong.
Not
Downplay
denying October 7th.
Well, you seem to be
You're doing the I'm
trivializing
pro
it, so-
October 7th. You're doing I'm pro Hamas.
I never said you were pro-Hamas. You're putting words in my mouth.
It is
But you seem to be downplaying it.
there for the last 17 years. People have been under a blockade where they cannot leave. If you were born in a place and there's a fence there and there's a guy with a gun on the other side and he says you can't go anywhere, would you like that guy? If you treat people like animals, sometimes they're going to lash out.
Look, I sincerely believe, maybe I'm wrong, that if Palestine...
Yeah. I sincerely believe that Palestinians should just take it. 100 years, they should just take it. Why won't they just take it quietly? It makes my situation much harder to defend. Love this quote about Torres. Torres has been an empty-headed AIPAC mouthpiece for some time now. His first time truly criticizing Israel's actions over the last 2 years was last month, and it was uninspiring. His mind-numbingly obtuse interview with Friedland only reinforces just how far gone he is. Wait, is that the Gawker affiliate article from Jake Rahm, I think? I have that on the docket. It's from the Defector. Don't worry, we'll look at that.
Palestinians were governed not by a terrorist organization like Hamas in Gaza, but by a regime that was able and willing to make peace with Israel, the situation would be fundamentally different.
Would you ever have Rashid Khalidi on the broadcast? I'd be honored to have him on the broadcast. That'd be sick.
The preconditions for this happening are undeniably something that the Israeli government was fully aware of. Why would Bibi Netanyahu... Okay, here's the question.
Do you think October 7th was justified?
No.
Okay, I'm happy you said that.
Are you listening to what I'm saying right now?
I am listening to what you're saying.
Why would the Israeli government... Hamas wants to eradicate the Jewish people and the Jewish state? Is that right?
That's what Hamas has said, yeah.
Okay. Then why would they directly give Hamas money, literally bags of cash in suitcases through the Qataris? Nearly, I think over $1 billion.
I wish Noah was in the room for this. All right, well, let's continue.
Dollars in cash.
During
this last 17 years.
That's a fair point. It's a great question.
If one of those kids at Columbia wrote a $5 check to Hamas, you'd say send them to Gitmo for being a terrorist.
It's a fair point.
Does that make Benjamin Netanyahu a terrorist? He's supporting terror.
The United States, it seems to me, the United States and Israel could have shut off the spigot and did not do so. I don't know why, but that was a failure. There's no question.
I think that what I see is the reason why our government provides $25 billion to something.
By the way, American government could have shut off the money spigot is so funny. Dog, you literally have actively defended the American government continuing the money spigot. Why are you acting as though you are just some random onlooker some random onlooker whose opinion on the matter is very public. The only reason why we even know who the Ritchie Torres is, by the way, is because of his relentless advocacy for the Israeli apartheid regime. He's talking about Hamas. No, the money spigot to Hamas. Wait, did I misunderstand?
I think that
Did not do so. I don't know why, but the United
the United States could have shut off the money spigot to Hamas.
States and Israel could have shut off the spigot and did not do so. I don't know why,
I misunderstood it. My bad.
but that was a failure. There's no question.
I think that what I see is the reason why our government provides $25 billion to something that looks this horrific to people, I think is the same reason. I think it makes it look like that the Jews control the government, but really what it is the more boring answer. It's the reason why the government and you guys don't get done. It's the reason why Sandy Hook could happen. You guys can't do gun reform. It's because
Why can't we do gun reform?
because special interest groups can buy influence in our government.
Which political parties against gun reform?
The NRA
It's
has
the
a power.
It's the Republican Party.
We allow our government to be flooded with cash and money, and what's scary to me is that it looks that people are.
The reason Bibi paid Hamas is because he thought he could bribe them to stay quiet, and ultimately Hamas proved actually interested in fighting what they perceived as the Palestinian national interest. Without Palestinian self-determination, there would be no end to violence. Yes, Benjamin Netanyahu's reasons for funding Hamas is very clear. Okay? One, Hamas in and of itself is a more hardliner and is presented as an Islamist group. Okay? And therefore, it's much harder for Hamas to actually gain allegiances or communicate their own plight and garner sympathy in the Western world. Okay, that's number one. Number two, because they were more willing to engage in Israel militarily by like lobbing bathtub rockets over the Gaza envelope and shit, was a perfect opportunity for Israel to go in and do sieges as they've done time and time again. The reason why this is important, the reason why they propped up Hamas is because, God forbid, they had a secular or socialist, Western-facing, Western-focused group like they did in the past with both the PLO and all of the other groups that were, all of the other forms of militancy that developed, like the PFLP, DFLP, that were comprised of like Christian Palestinians and socialists and whatnot, was that those guys wrote to the Western world with regular frequency, and they were murdered for it, okay? Ghassan Kanafani is a great example of this, Palestinian Christian, leader of the PFLP. They were Marxist, Leninists, and they were murdered for it. He never held a weapon in his life. He just got killed he got slaughtered alongside his family members by the Israeli state because they thought they miscalculated. Like Israel miscalculated that as long as the one group that is actually invested in the defense of Palestinians is Hamas, they can just keep saying these are Muslim terrorists. We can kill them. We can kill them dead. And it worked for a very long time. Okay. The other reason why they did this, by the way, and one of the major reasons also is to politically split the West Bank and Gaza to warring factions with one another. You have the Palestinians, the Palestinian face of Israeli dominance in the form of the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, deeply unpopular. And you have Hamas and Gaza, okay? So you divide the Palestinian population through two different points of governance. So then you render the one singular contiguous state for Palestinians impossible to happen. And last but not least, as that chatter also correctly pointed to, are you ever going to press play? Don't you think this is more important for me to give you a history lesson in the process of like talking about funding Hamas? This is why you're watching it with me instead of watching it on your own. Okay? The other reason why they did this is because they thought Hamas was as selfish and as self-interested and only wanted to just like be in power and dominate the Palestinians. Like they believed their own propaganda. Okay? They thought, oh, these guys are corrupt just like we are. We just give them money and they'll brutalize the Palestinians every now and then. They'll lob a couple missiles that our Tamir interceptors will intercept. It's not a big deal. And then we use that as a just cause to go in and invade the Gaza Strip and kill a bunch of Palestinians. And, we control how tall the flames go. Okay. But it turns out Hamas had different opinions. They were really with it. They weren't just trying to be the sole controllers of the Gaza Strip in this like deeply corrupt fashion. They truly wanted Palestinian sovereignty. They truly wanted Palestinian emancipation. They were willing to fight for it. They were willing to coalesce all of the different Palestinian resistance groups together. That's October 7. October 7 wasn't just Hamas. It was Hamas. It was Palestinian Islamic Jihad. It was DFLP. It was PFLP. There were numerous other factions within the coalition of Palestinian resistance that participated in October 7th. Some of the last remaining hostages are currently in the hands of PFLP, as a matter of fact. There's some internal struggle taking place within the Palestinian resistance right now, with some forces saying, I don't know if we want to keep holding on to these hostages, and other forces saying we need to keep pushing back against Israel. That's a real thing that's taking place right now, okay? As far as I understand, with the limited information that we can get from the Gaza Strip. That was the real issue. They resisted against Israeli colonial violence, and they pushed back. And most importantly, they did so with the entirety, with like former Fatah, with Fatah members as well. Exactly. Israel never thought that would happen, I think. That's the reason why they miscalculated and propped up Hamas.
Started to question the Holocaust ever happening. How could Jews, maybe they invented the Holocaust?
You're blaming Israel for Holocaust denial?
I'm blaming our government for supporting a genocide. But it is unfathomable in my heart, and it breaks my heart, that we could be capable of it.
I think we should move on.
Why is that?
We just fundamentally disagree. So
I think I'm talking to you like about where I come from, and that it feels different, and maybe I have a different perspective.
You have a different perspective.
But
I know people who have a perspective that's different.
For the record, I would never be able to Mr. Ritchie Torres in this way, because he was slammed that Islamist, terrorist, Muslim piece of shit who needs to go to jail so fast. But he can't do that to Adam, because Adam is Jewish. Do you understand? That's it. That's why it's valuable to have anti-Zionist Jews fighting this fight as well. Okay? That's it.
From yours.
Yeah.
With a much smaller platform than you.
I'm not. I hate this conversation.
I know.
I have it with my family. It's not something, and I love my family.
If it were up to me, we would not be having this, because we're speaking a foreign language.
My family grew up in South Africa, right? We were like Jews from Eastern Europe that literally, we thought we were going to Ellis Island. Mm-hmm. My grandma, all the grannies stayed. And my parents' whole generation of South African Jews left. And when I was a kid, like growing up, I used to write all my who's my hero essays on Nelson Mandela. And he was like a hero of mine, right? And he was also, in prison, and for terrorism too. I don't want to get it. You're gonna go Hamas is what I don't want. I'm not debating Hamas is good. He was called that, and he went to my synagogue after he got out of prison, Madiba, and he spoke to like all the grandmas who like were still there. They didn't have to fucking move because black people could vote. And he said, "Tell your kids to come back because we need them to build our country." I don't know. I think that I don't see what's wrong with people being afforded the right to vote.
Do you think that's what Hamas means when it says free Palestine from the river to the sea?
To me, it seems like maybe if there's a recognition that people were cleared off their land in 1948.
But there are those who only want a Jewish state, and there are those who only want a Palestinian state.
Then they could fuck off.
And we should be advocating for the coexistence.
Yeah, I don't agree with Adam on this as well, but I do, while I disagree with the outcome, and I also don't believe that it'll ever take place, I think those two things are not the same. Okay, I will say this. Okay, while I am not a believer in. No, Adam is a one-stater, chatter. No, Adam is a one-stater. He's saying yes to coexistence. I agree with him. But even the fact that like when Ritchie Torres says, "Oh, those who believe in only a Palestinian state and those who believe in only a Jewish state are at odds with one another," I don't agree with that. I think that like the people that only want a Palestinian state, albeit would never be able to achieve it would never be able to achieve it through nonviolent means, are still morally correct for this advocacy as well. Okay, it's like saying, and it's even closer in history, so it's not even like saying this exactly, but it's like saying land back would be a decolonial movement where like America still offers reparations to the indigenous population, or at least like significant chunks of land to the indigenous population. It's morally correct. It's just virtually impossible to do without like actual harm being conducted. So the best possible way to go about it is to elevate and offer significant chunks of land to the indigenous population, and also offer reparations and not just like simply recognition that indigenous genocide took place, which is what most people's advocacy is in land back movements as well anyway. It's about offering sovereignty and more dignity to the indigenous population rather than just saying like New York is now, New York now belongs to the tribe that existed there.
Jewish state and a Palestinian state.
Why can't
I continue to believe the two-state solution ultimately is the inevitable path forward.
It's stupid.
There were 1,000 Jews who were murdered before the establishment of Israel, like a half a century before the establishment of Israel. 1,000 Jews.
Yeah, they were killing each other, Jews and Palestinians. Yeah,
the Hebron massacre.
It doesn't make sense to me. This in 2025.
The only point was there was violence against Jews before the establishment of the state of Israel.
There was violence against Palestinians, and there was an ethnic cleansing in 1948.
I mean, the Hebron massacre.
What are you talking about right now? You're in the government. And listen, I didn't want to argue.
Wait, I'm sorry, you're not familiar with the Hebron massacre in 1929?
Wait, you're saying that justifies an entire ethnic cleansing in 1948?
Israel was a.
Whoa, this is such.
Yeah, it's because he won't say it. That's a good counter, by the way. Oh, the Hebron massacre. Okay, dude. Well, first of all, there is a reason why. I'll use one example. It's like there's a reason why Rashid Khalidi's book is 100 Years War on Palestine and is not called 75-year War on Palestine. It's because the violence through settler colonialism unfolded before the ultimate violence that led to the inception of the Israeli nation state in the aftermath of the Nakba, the complete ethnic cleansing of 750,000 Palestinians from their ancestral homelands. Okay? The notion of like Hebron, the Hebron massacre, like, yeah, dude, of course. Turns out the Palestinians that were literally living in Palestine that were very angry about the Jewish settler colonialism that was taking place at the behest of the British Empire, they were right. Like, history vindicated them. And it's not like the dudes were just simply trying to coexist. They were trying to forcibly overtake Palestinian existence and wipe out the indigenous population from the start. The only time frame that you can point to where Jews and non-Jews existed in that region is before the British takeover, is before World War I, when it was under the Ottoman rulership. Oh man, I can't believe the Palestinians recognized that they were going to get wiped out of their own ancestral homelands, which is literally what happened, and they tried to take action, decentralized action in the process. Like, it's not even justification, but like, were they wrong to recognize that they were being wiped? They were inevitably going to be wiped out by a colonial entity that had no interest in preserving their statehood or offering them statehood whatsoever. I mean, look at what happened after.
Dude, this isn't even a good argument.
Hold on. Israel.
What are you talking about?
I didn't realize we were debating.
I don't want to do it, but you say something like that.
The Jewish state was established by international law, right? The UN passed a resolution. That recognized the
Israel. Any Israel defender bringing up international law is so funny. It's like, wow, really? Oh, so now you care about international law. Interesting. Interesting. I didn't hear you talking about international law earlier when you were talking about but Hamas. Dude, any Israel defender bringing up international law is basically an admission of defeat, okay? It's not only historically incorrect, because there's never been a moment where Israel abided by the international law, because there's no point in the international law where it's like, yeah, you can deny civilians a right to return. That's ridiculous. And secondly, when has Israel ever listened to international law? Please. I thought the UN was anti-Semitic and Hamas. Now you're saying the UN is an upholder of international law and good. The UN established Israel. It's good now. It's good again. Yeah. I thought it was the most anti-Semitic institution out there. It was an instrument of Hamas. Thank God international law is good again. You don't understand. Hamas put tunnels under the UN. Yeah. No, I do understand it. For sure.
Establishment of a Jewish state. And there were a number of Arab countries, including Egypt, that declared war on Israel.
Yes.
It was the War of Independence.
The Palestinians
and Israel won the war.
The Palestinians didn't declare war on them. They were just people that were living there. And they were kicked off their
and
land.
by the way, there were 800,000 Jews that were ethnically cleansed from the Arab world.
Do you know
there were Jews? You know how many Jews there are
not
in the
by
Arab
the
world?
Palestinians.
Almost none. I'm not talking about the I'm talking about the broader Arab world.
So why do the Palestinians have to bear the responsibility of the Algerians kicking the Jews out?
You can relitigate.
Why do the Palestinians bear the responsibility of Egypt invading in 1948?
Israel's been a state for 77 years.
Bro, it's so depressing what you're saying right now.
You're proposing to undo an established state?
No. I know people that live there. I have family that live there. I don't think that they should leave.
What are you proposing?
I'm proposing a democracy. I'm proposing an extensive demographic study of what was taken and what was lost, extensive reparations for what was taken, and a truth and reconciliation process where we can end this shit. What we're seeing right now is that members of the Israeli government are talking about clearing that shit out. And Trump, our president, is talking about putting a fucking jet ski museum there. And that's the reality right now.
That is the far right, yes.
It's
that's
the
a
far
view that
right?
I reject. So.
What the far right? I'm talking about the government and the generals that are in charge of Israel.
The Ben-Gavirs, the Smoltrishes of the world, that's a view that I reject.
They're the cabinet.
Yes, and I reject them.
That's what Hamas is saying they want to do to Israel.
I'm sorry?
I mean,
Hamas murdered thousands of people, so there's no...
So what does that mean?
That Hamas is a terrorist organization for murdering innocent children and civilians.
How many civilians have been killed in this war?
The war is a tragedy, but...
90% of them have been...
The war is a tragedy, but October 7 is the worst thing that's ever happened.
90% of them have been civilians. They've killed journalists. They've killed journalists.
People have been killed in a war. It's been a tragedy.
They've killed people waiting for aid.
But you're suggesting that it is the policy of the Israeli government to murder civilians, and that is a notion that I reject.
You can reject it. It's just objective reality, dumbass.
You gotta listen, man. You gotta be like a human being about this.
People who are dying in the war, which to me is a tragedy, because war is a tragedy.
Do you feel in your heart that this is what you're saying is right?
If you remove Hamas,
you don't actually think that.
I told you what I believe. Don't tell me what I believe. I've told you what I believe.
Why would you believe that?
Because there are people who see the world differently. I know it's a shock to you, but there are people who see the world differently from you.
But why?
I know that's a shock to you.
It seems a little bit like
the humanitarian crisis has deteriorated rapidly.
I don't want to be disrespectful like this.
You've been at various points.
In what capacity?
You've just been hostile. So.
In what capacity?
It's fine. Don't worry. It's just been a gotcha interview.
I think that.
Oh, now he's getting condescending. Oh. This has been a gotcha interview. I know people have differences in opinion. I know it's a shock to you. Just call him a woke lib, dude. Why don't you? It's crazy because it spirals completely out of control. And the reason why it spirals completely out of control is because I think Ritchie Torres at this point is aware that he's just coming off like a total bot.
My conscience is clear, especially as someone that's lived there and seen it and loved people that live there. And this sucks. I really didn't want to do this. And I think that you saw it as gotcha. Well, this is what people are talking about right now.
No, I get it. Well, not in the South Bronx. People are not talking about Israel. People are talking about how to put food on the table and pay the bills.
Yeah.
Maybe in your world, that's what people are talking about.
No,
but in my world, people are struggling. So.
Yeah. Then why, if people are struggling in your world, are you paying $25 billion?
We have a seven.
Also, why is it that you only bring up how your district is struggling to pay their bills when it's a way to stop talking about Israel? Because you talk about Israel more than anybody else. If your district doesn't give a Israel, why the do you constantly talk about Israel? This mother cares so little about his job. He tweeted more times about me, Hasanabi Piker, in the lead up to a general election. He tweeted more times about me and how anti-Semitic I am because of my criticisms of Israel than his own district in the lead up to the general election. How insane is that? How much of a Israel attack dog do you have to be that you got clips from a now outed Files cult that were completely clipped out of context that you used and you slammed into a congressional letterhead statement that you made with a demand to deplatform one of the only large progressive voices in the lead up to the general election. That's what he was predisposed with. I am at most an irrelevant figure that should never be in your radar, dude. Like, think about that. Out of all the top 10 independent media, out of all of the top 10 independent media platforms that were tracked on the night of the election for their election coverage, I was the only left voice on there. Not a single other left voice was on there. Every single other one was a Trump supporter. Every single other one. Out of the top 10, I was the only person that was not a Trump supporter. And this mother was trying to demand that I get deplatformed. And by the way, I didn't get deplatformed, luckily, but I was blacklisted. So on the day of the election, the only platform, the only content creator that was covering the election that was actually being shown, prominently being featured on Twitch, was Asmongold. It didn't work. I still got 314,000 live concurrent viewers on that day, in spite of the blackballing, in spite of the blacklisting, as in people literally typed twitch.tv/Hasanabi to come and watch, as Twitch was promoting Asmongold's election coverage, dude. Why? Because Ritchie Torres and the ADL and all of these pro-Israel groups demanded that I stop my coverage, demanded that I get platformed. That's insane, dude. That's what you were worried about. That's how little these motherfuckers care about defending democracy, actively combating the Trump administration. That's how little they care. He just cares about Israel and nothing else.
We have a $7 trillion budget in the federal government.
Yeah.
Right, less than.
So it's not that much money?
Less than 1%.
So it's a little money went to Israel.
In the grand scheme of the federal budget, yes, it's minuscule.
I'm sorry, dude. You're bummed. Your consultants told you not to do it. I like this guy a lot too. I hate this. This is so embarrassing.
I don't have anything to hide. I'm willing to go anywhere.
No, man. I'm sorry. I appreciate your time. Listen.
Sure.
Run that clip to every single person in his district. Ritchie Torres thinks that while you're suffering, the $25 billion and a piece of that could have gone to you. He thinks it's minuscule that it went to Israel, and it's totally valid. If Trump is the ultimate personification of the Republican Party, extremely arrogant, profoundly stupid, and incredibly selfish and unimaginably evil, Torres is the ultimate manifestation of the Democratic Party. Pure smugness, nonstop corpo speak, entirely soulless, and unbelievably corrupt both morally and financially. Yeah.
I think this opportunity for me is a big deal. I don't get to talk to someone in the government that's taking part in these big decisions like this. And
well, Well, only one of 535. So.
Well, I'll talk to another one. Which one would like me? Virginia Fox?
I don't know.
Do you have her number?
I don't have her number. No.
All right. I appreciate it. I feel like you're mad at me or something. I got to get a big laugh?
But look, it's like Hyman Roth from The Godfather 2. He said, "This is the life we've chosen." So, I know what I signed up for.
Is this what happens? This has been I've been doing a terrible job. I'm rambling about Israel and being a Jew and the Holocaust.
Yeah.
It's the most embarrassing stuff to talk about in public.
I feel like every Jewish American should have a right to be who they are, to wear a kippah, to display a Star of David, to be proudly and visibly
Yeah, if you're a Muslim American, wear a keffiyeh, though, you should go to prison, you terrorist.
Jewish, without fear of harassment or intimidation or violence.
Well,
I mean, the freedom to be who we are is like fundamental for all of us.
Well, I think that from where I'm sitting, Israel might be a threat to that.
And you have that view, but others have a different view.
Why are we still having this interview? This is exhausting. I'm sweating.
We can end the interview.
The AC's off. I'm just trying to find a button to shake your hand, dude. I don't want to do this. We could have talked about so much other shit.
No, I think you had an agenda to speak about this. I really do.
didn't have an agenda.
I really did.
It's your number one topic.
It's not my number one topic. It's just not.
It is your.
It's not my number one topic. It's
From
not
what I saw.
Well, then
from
I'm
what
happy
I
that
saw.
I was not elected on Israel. You don't get elected in the South Bronx and the
I'm
Northeast
not
Bronx.
trying to make you feel bad or like.
No, but I just don't think you know what you're talking about.
Is not what I got elected? Then why is it the only thing you talk about, you piece of shit? Is your only policy? He should feel bad. It's cool that now that there is like a motion in the independent media space that we finally get to see at least a crumb of pushback against politicians that make them look horrible. Because there is never going to be a mainstream media equivalent to this conversation. There's never going to be a mainstream media equivalent to Crystal Ball with Elisa Slotkin. Right? I have a hunch that clips from the Torres interview may circulate around in a way that may be more damaging for him indirectly than some people may expect. Like, people don't actually interview him typically or have anything resembling a conversation with him. This is much less managed and polished than the typically allowed. And I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't feel like this psycho shit's just going to be swept away, but maybe I'm wrong. Democrats were eager to make appearances on new media after the Biden-Harris aversion, but then are unprepared for questions about their unquestioning, unflinching, unyielding support for Israel. They expected to go like a CNN interview where they know the host likely shares pro-Israel views. Torres accusing an actual Jewish person of anti-Semitism for failing to worship the state of Israel is, well, actually, it's on brand for him.